Number 10 in the Chris Simms Top 40 Quarterback Countdown for the year 2020 is
Big Cam Newton, who's not on a team. It's odd to
Oh.
say that because usually I say a guy's name and say the team he plays for. But here I am talking about a top 10 quarterback who has no team right now, which is insane, right?
Yeah. Yeah,
You
it,
know,
it really it really is
yeah.
because I mean, and Pete mentioned this real quick, and it's a good point. You've talked about how Brady and the Patriots moved on from Brady. If he was a top 10 quarterback, they wouldn't have done that. The Saints may be moving on from Drew Brees. If he was a top 10 quarterback, they wouldn't be doing that. It appears like the Carolina Panthers, and you agree here, maybe did move on from a top 10 quarterback. Certainly with some injury issues and some concerns there, but he's out there and available.
Well, yeah, he is. Now, listen, I think the first thing that's a really good question that you ask, and Pete, Dimolittle, I just want to know about, no doubt. It's a different scenario to me than New Orleans or New England. They didn't have a coaching regime change or anything like that. They were
Sure.
kind of a team that was like they're in the window kind of right now. I mean, I know New England's not as strong as they were, 2 or 3 years ago, but like I still think if Tom Brady was there, we'd be talking about New England a lot more and how they're a Super Bowl contender than we are right now. So yes, I think that's different than Cam Newton with Matt Rule coming in, trying to completely change the culture of a guy who had been there for a long, long time and has a serious footprint on that organization and Ron Rivera. And now, yes, if you're Matt Rule, he's coming in going, wait, I'm going to run a different offense. I got a different offensive coordinator here. It not necessarily suits Cam Newton exactly the way, you would want an offense to suit your superstar quarterback. And I don't think he wants any reminiscent of the old culture. He wants to make his stamp on the organization. He doesn't want the superstar quarterback in the locker room going, man, we used to do things like this. I wish we did that. Or the superstar quarterback coming and being a voice of the players and being like, hey, some of the vet players want to do this, this, and this because this is how we did it with Ron Rivera. And Matt Rule doesn't want to hear that shit. He doesn't want to hear it. There's no other way to put it. So I think between that, the injuries, certainly he might want more money here at some point in the near future.
Right.
I think that's the reason he left town. So, and also, you also got to think about this. This is also what coaches do. Coaches think about who's going to be their quarterback to start, sometimes to give themselves wiggle room at the start of their career. And I really think Matt Rule's got a guy here where if he had Cam Newton and it failed out of the gates, people would be like, what? You can't win with Cam Newton and what's going on and blah, 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 blah. Now, with the Teddy Bridgewater, if it doesn't work the first year or two, he's going to be able to say, oh, well, I thought I could make Teddy Bridgewater work. I liked what I saw in New Orleans, but it wasn't really my guy. And then he buys himself more time to either get a free agent or draft a quarterback or whatever it may be. So I think those are the factors that lead into the fact of Cam Newton not being there. And now why he's on the street, Ahmed, you know this reason.
Yeah.
We've talked about this. He's so good and talented and threatening that no team wants to bring Cam Newton in to be the backup. He's going to threaten almost every quarterback in football except the elite superstars because we've had this discussion. When you come off the practice field, the team and the coaches are going to come in going, damn, did you see Cam Newton throwing lasers around there today? Did you see Cam Newton break out and run away from our middle linebacker? Did you see, it's just going to be constant one after another, and that's going to cause division in the locker room and doubt on who should be the starting quarterback, and that's why he's on the street. The guy's talented, and I know he's been injured. I've seen enough on social media, and he's 31 years old, and it's 2020 that I go, he's going to be fine. It's not like career ending. He's got a lot of years ahead of him.
Number 9. I was excited about 10. I'm super excited about number 9 here. Number 9 on your list, Chris.
We're going to your hometown, baby. Matthew Stafford will be my number 9 quarterback going into the 2020 season. I mean, where do you want to start with Matt Stafford? First off, disrespected, throughout his career, drives me crazy. One of the greatest arms and throwers in the history of the sport. Doesn't get a lot of credit for that because He's in the division with the guy with the greatest arm in the history of the sport, in my opinion, and Aaron Rodgers. I mean, maybe Patrick Mahomes will trump that at some point too, but right now he's the greatest thrower I've ever seen, let alone a career of a limited supporting cast around him. But I know he only played half the year in 2019. And listen, people might go again, oh, is there injury concerns? No, there's not, to me. Not at his age right now. No, I'm not going, oh. But guys like Matt Stafford and Aaron Rodgers are going to get hurt in certain years because they're the team. So when you always have to play near the edge and I got to break a tackle and throw a 30-yard laser and make 7 people miss in the pocket, they don't have the luxury of a Tom Brady or a Drew Brees and a McDaniels and Sean Payton offense where they go, oh, man, I'll just take a sack. We'll get somebody open the next play. Matt Stafford a lot of times is like, man, there hasn't been anybody open in 7 plays. I got to make this throw here and get this to them. And they leave themselves in danger's way, in harm's way. That's what happens. But Stafford, I thought, in 2019, Ahmed, adjusted to the new playing style in Detroit with Matt Patricia. In 2018, I was concerned. It was the worst year I ever thought I saw him play in his career, Matthew Stafford. He missed throws. He looked out of place. He didn't look comfortable. He made some stupid decisions. And I think that was because they changed the style in which they played it. They started playing like a style the 2002 New England Patriots played. And he was used to being, I'm just used to being in the shotgun and I got to score 40 points for the Lions to win. And that's what I'm used to. I don't have a governor or anybody micromanaging me. Well, he got there with Matt Patricia, and Matt Patricia said, sorry, you're not the sheriff here. I am, and we're going to play this way. And he had a tough time adjusting. But in 2019, he was out of this world good. Out of this world good in another offense that I would say was not quarterback friendly, really wanted to run the ball first. And then, yes, I know he has Kenny Golladay and Marvin Jones there at wide receiver, Ahmed. But those are like number 2s. They're both real good number 2s. I don't think anybody would sign either one of them and go, oh, we got our superstar number 1 receiver, take over the game guy. No, they're not that type. They're really good, and I like them. Don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to say that. But I just think Matthew Stafford, from what I saw last year, the throws, the leaderships, the decisions, his subtle movements in the pocket, he's not always going to scare you running, but he's great at just like, oh, I got a little pressure, and he walks up this way and just throws like a 20-yard laser down the middle of the field. He makes so many freaking plays, Ahmed, and throws that change the game, and I go, wow, it's just unbelievable. It's just they don't always capitalize because they're not a great team up there in Detroit.
Let's go to number 8. Number 8 on the Chris Simms Top 40 Quarterback Countdown.
Number 8, we're going to Texas, baby. We're going to Dak Prescott, number 8 quarterback in the Chris Simms Top 40 Quarterback Countdown. Yeah, Dak Prescott, brings it all to the table to me, Ahmed. Leadership, toughness, sure. I love that aspect of him. Okay, and that's where, him and Matt Stafford, I had really close. Okay, but I give Dak Prescott the advantage because of some of that, of what he brings to that football team. There is somewhat of an edge he brings, all right? I know that. I've been around him, but I've also been told that, let alone his ability to run and the quarterback design runs. And then, again, this is one of the best deep ball throwers in football, too. And don't think he quite gets the credit he does for making off-schedule plays and throws. Everybody looks at the Dallas Cowboys and just goes, well, they have talent. That's easy. Yeah, they have talent, but, as that year went on last year, Amari Cooper was banged up. Ezekiel Elliott wasn't to his best. And the offense started to kind of stall in creativity and things like that to where I want to go, yeah, he's got some talent around him, but they weren't like serving it up on a silver platter for him. He was still, the one thing I went back and watched again is just the runs and the plays he makes, again, to where I don't want to say scramble, but step up in the pocket, start to run and take 2 steps to the right and throw a ball 20 yards down the sideline perfectly to a receiver, whatever. There's so many of those plays that even I forgot as I started to dig back through this. And yeah, to me, Dak Prescott has it all. He's a franchise quarterback. He deserves to be paid in a big way. If there's a negative to him, he's got a technical flaw, Ahmed, sometimes where his front leg locks out his left knee, and it causes him to go way over the top of the ball and sometimes can make him throw a nosedive or even a ball high to where he can be a little errant. And I've talked about that with him. But when he fixes that, he's one of the more pure throwers in the NFL.
We're going to number 7. Who is that, Chris?
That is Matty Ice. Matt Ryan, Atlanta Falcons, number 7 quarterback in my countdown. I mean, Matt Ryan's got such a great blend of things going on. First off, he's that precision dissection passer, right, that Tom Brady and Drew Brees are. He really is that way. It's not a huge arm. You know, I would say it's below NFL average, really, out of the starting quarterbacks. And I think people might be shocked to hear that. Like, his arm is not as good as Tom Brady's is at 43. You know, there's a lot of quarterbacks with better arms than Matt Ryan. But between his experience, you know, his ability to dissect defenses like a Brady and a Brees, you know, being able to handle all that stuff mentally, and then really being able to read and react to defenses and make quick decisions with big-time throws is awesome. But where I give him a better advantage of, you know, or give him, you know, more respect than maybe what we call those quarterbacks who need a little bit of a system or precision passers and don't always argue with great physical ability. You know, where he's different than them is Matt Ryan, like, is scary, you know, scary good running around the pocket and making plays when things break down. Their offensive line has stunk the last few years. I mean, stunk. I would really argue the last few years, I'm more impressed with the way Matt Ryan's played the last few years than I am in 2016 when he was the MVP of football. You know, that was a year where Kyle Shanahan, like we were talking about, was just serving up silver platter throws. Like, hey, there's a guy wide open down the middle of the field, 40-yard gain. If you could just put it anywhere near him, it's a 40-yard gain. It'll look good for your quarterback rating. Well, there haven't been people open like that since Kyle Shanahan left. And Matt Ryan has had to really raise his game and make more happen with his anticipation, his knowledge of defenses. And then, even though it's not pretty and sexy, Ahmed, he really moves around a lot, like a lot more than Dak Prescott. When I really went back and started writing notes, I went, Matt Ryan, he doesn't flat out run, but he scrambles around the pocket more than a Dak Prescott and makes so many damn good throws with people around him. And, oh, there's Julio Jones and people around him. And there's Austin Hooper. And, you know, he hasn't had a run game to help him. He's had none of that the last few years. I mean, really, it's been, hey, the defense is devastated with injuries. Matt Ryan, Julio Jones, can you guys score 35 or 40? If you can, we can win. If you can't, we're not going to win. And that's not fair and that's not realistic. But Matt Ryan's still been playing phenomenal football.
Number 6, and that person is?
We're going to Pennsylvania, okay? Carson Wentz, Philadelphia Eagles. The big soldier, number 11, Big Red. I mean, come on. Does anybody need to see anything else? I mean, I don't know. You know, did everybody
playoff
watch?
Success, maybe. Playoff
Well,
success.
yep, that's what we'd like to see. Okay, yes, you're right. You know, but damn, they're not in the playoffs last year unless they have Carson Wentz at quarterback. That's really all I could say. You know, or maybe they have one of the 5 guys I got in front of them. But I mean, come on. I mean, Ahmed, I mean, you follow this game for a living and do it and watch this and do a stupid podcast with me every week. Like, it's hard to name the guys that were on the offense with Carson Wentz at skill positions last year. It's unbelievable. So first thing is, I don't even know where to begin. You know, he's one of the 6 quarterbacks in football where I just go, you could put the squad on his back and he can carry you. No matter who's out there, what style of game you play, what kind of offense you're in, it doesn't matter. There was nobody at receiver to be scared of there last year. There was no run game to talk of. Okay, the defense had weeks of struggle. And once they got used to playing with this cast of characters and no names and how they wanted to play, I mean, he just said, get on my back. Oh, it's like the Cleveland Cavaliers with LeBron James. He said, don't worry, I'll take over. And, you know, first off, awesome arm, like explosive game-changing arm. You know, very accurate on short throws, intermediate throws, deep balls. Can throw the ball, sidearm, whatever you want. He can do it all that way. But then, like, in the pocket, he's as tough as there is in football. To me, it's one of his great strengths. It's also one of his weaknesses because at times you want to go, dude, just give it up, give the play up, take the sack, throw the ball away, save your body, do something like that. But he's always trying to make a miracle happen. And that's why he's fun to watch too, because he could have 4 defensive linemen on his back, and all of a sudden he like pops out of there and throws the ball 30 yards downfield. And you're like, what? How the hell did he do that? He can run the ball. He's phenomenal when it's off schedule and nobody's open and he's got to make a play and scramble and throw on the run. I mean, he's really special that way. So, yes, when I sit here and think about Carson Wentz, I think he's one of the most talented quarterbacks in football. I think he's only going upwards. And, I just hope they have enough support at the skill positions around him to where he could shut up some of the people out there and they could start to go, whoa, this is like truly a game changer guy that can do it almost all by himself.
At number 5, take it away.
Lamar Jackson, the MVP of football. And yes, there I am, Tiger King, a.k.a. the Chicken King, okay?
Leave that up there.
Yeah, you like that, don't you? But,
yes.
Hey, we know Lamar Jackson, awesome, exciting, one of the most explosive players in football, certainly dangerous in so many different ways. The skill set is vast. We know the running is electric. It's as good as anybody we've ever seen in football at the quarterback position other than Michael Vick. The throwing continues to go on an upward arc.
Mm-hmm.
And he's a natural thrower. This is the one thing I think, and this is where I know when he was coming out of Louisville, I sang his praises and for a long time said he was the best quarterback in the draft because that's what I saw, Paul. I saw a quarterback who wanted to throw in the pocket and deliver the ball to his wide receivers. And then when things broke down, he said, hey, I'm out of here. I'm going to run, right? And I do mean he's a natural thrower, Paul. I think he's one of those guys. He can pick up a baseball, football, whatever object, skip rocks on a lake, whatever you want to do. I think if we went out and threw it with him, we go, man, that sucker can throw the ball. Woo, he can throw the rock, whatever it is. He can do it all. Now, the negative, is he a polished passer yet? No. I think that's where, there's a little difference there. And people might go, well, what do you mean he's a great thrower but not a polished passer? Yeah, okay. So, a great thrower, hey, strong arm, can pick it up and he can throw spirals and rockets, and he can throw it sidearm. He can jump in the air and throw it and still hit the target. But polished, and when I'm talking polished, I'm talking, okay, pocket's clean, 5-step drop. You got to hit the 10-yard out. No, there's still inconsistencies with that. Hey, pocket's clean. There's a slant route open. Yeah, you completed it, but the guy had to stop in his tracks. And it just ended up being a 5-yard completion. And instead, if you hit him on the numbers and let him run, it might have been a 30-yard completion. I think a number of throws like that. And sometimes the inappropriate trajectory on the ball, too, where you'd go, oh, why did he throw the laser there? If he just touched that over the linebacker, that's going to be a big completion. Or vice versa, where you go, oh, I don't understand why he lobbed that ball up and let the safety make a play on it, when he could have thrown a laser in between 2 dropping linebackers and that safety wouldn't have had anything to do with it. So to me, it's just those nuances that are holding back Lamar Jackson. And I think they're conquerable. He's gotten better at it. I've seen it already. But I think that's what keeps him at 5 for me at this moment.
Who is your 4th quarterback?
DeShaun Watson. He's so freaking awesome. He is arguably one of the best deep ball throwers in football. That's to me where I just think he's special. They design plays for him to throw the ball down the field. The degree of difficulty of the throws he's asked to make a lot. They're not easy throws. And yeah, I think with his ability to how he can throw the ball so high in the air, so he can do it different ways. He can throw a 50-yard bomb where it's just a quick little banana up and down, and then he could throw a 50, 60-yard bomb where, it's the arches of St. Louis where it goes way up in the air and just falls out of the sky. He can do it any which way that way. And to me, that's where he's special. And that's where he really stresses defenses out because we know he can scramble. But then you got to go, well, shit, we better worry about the other 50 yards behind us, too, because he can bombs it away over us that way, too. And that's, to me, the thing he probably does best.
So who is it at number 3?
Oh, I almost want to cry, but I can't believe it. Yep. Oh, Aaron Rodgers. I think you're the greatest quarterback of all time, but in 2020, you're number 3.
How is that?
Oh, man. Hurts me to say it, man. Hurts me to say it.
And, Chris, he's the only one of these quarterbacks in the top 5 who dropped. How'd this happen?
What an asshole I am. How do I do that?
Bad guy.
You know?
Yeah.
I know. What a bad
From
guy.
1 to 3. From 1 to 3, why?
And I will say, you know, unequivocally, this is the first time I think since 2010 that I'm going into a season where I don't think Aaron Rodgers is the best quarterback in football. I don't. And to me, you know, again, we'll get into some of the special, but why did he fall to 3? All right, well, there's 2 guys in front of him who are really special and in the primes of their career. Rodgers, he's on that part where it's starting to just go downhill. Still special, but like just to get into why I dropped him down 2 spots, okay? You know, 1, do I think skills are declining a little bit? Yes. Like, did I notice his 104-mile-per-hour fastball dropped to 102 this year? Yes. Doesn't matter. Still a special arm. Don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to say it's still one of the best arms in the game. Okay, but I did notice it. His escapability, I think, was a little less than average this year, or not less than him, what we normally see from him. His ability to bounce around and escape that way, and then just his pure actual running. I thought there was a few runs this year where I went, ooh, Rodgers 2 years ago turns the corner, and that's a 20-yard gain. Rodgers this year, he got tripped up, and he stumbled and fell and got a 1-yard gain. So I noticed that, but here's probably my biggest thing with Rodgers, okay, is just I think he's too careful with the football. I think that's the biggest reason or the biggest thing about his game that I don't like right now. And, you know, you remember we saw that little spat between him and LaFleur early in the year, right?
Yeah.
You know, that's what it was about. LaFleur said, man, there was a guy open on a 20-yard in cut. He was open. Why didn't you throw it to him? And I think Rodgers, because of, you know, 1, he had to play like that for a while in Green Bay, and it's kind of the style he's used to. You know, 2, yeah, I think he's a little careful in times where I want to go, wait, within the normal rhythm of the 5-step, take a hitch and throw to number 1, that guy was open. Yeah, the window was tight, but you're freaking Aaron Rodgers. Throw it in there. And I thought times where, oh, it's a little too tight. I'm going to move around, try to make something happen, and then nothing happens. Or then he has to throw it away. And to me, that's just little things. Again, this is Aaron Rodgers. We're being picky about all these guys in the top 5.
Sure.
They're special.
Yeah.
But those are just some of the negatives to Rodgers.
You got it, too.
Well, it's Russell Wilson at number 2, right? Russell Wilson. Let's start respecting the greatness of number 3 up at Seattle. Because
where's the song? Where's the Russell Wilson song?
I know I don't have one for Russell. I need to come up with. You know, he's married to a singer. She's got to do something around here. You know,
it's a lack of respect
on, Sierra,
for Russell
come
Wilson.
Come up with a song for your husband, and then I'll sing it after she comes up.
I like your songs better. No. We need one of your originals.
Okay, I can think of it. Those ones just came to me naturally, so I'll have to think about this in my time off.
Work on it.
But really, Russell Wilson, he's one of the greatest one-man shows in the NFL. I mean, he does everything for his football team, let alone plays quarterback for a team that doesn't play a quarterback-friendly style of football. I mean,
what's that mean?
It's the exact opposite of being quarterback-friendly. It means Pete Carroll's the defensive coach. Pete Carroll wants to run the ball. You know, we're going to run it. We're going to run it. We're going to run it. Oh, shit, we're down by 10 at the end of the third quarter. Hey, Russell, here's the ball. We're going to put it in your hands now. Take over the game. Oh, okay. Here comes the Seahawks coming back. I mean, really, one of my negatives with Russell Wilson would be almost team-related. I don't know if I have a whole lot. I'll get into some of the negatives. But, you know, they got to get out of this mold of, like, we're still the Legion of Boom in 2013.
Right.
Put the ball in Russell's hands from start to finish in every game. Put the pressure on teams that way. They do this where, like I just said, they run the ball, they play defense, and a lot of the times you look up in the third quarter and they're tied or losing by 3 to a team that they should be blowing out. And I think a lot of that's because of the style of the play, and they almost handcuff Russell Wilson that way. But, just
It's
like we've
like
seen in
you've
the
seen my
playoff
notes
games.
here.
Well,
It's
good.
like
Go
you've
ahead.
seen my
Go ahead.
notes.
Throw some stuff at me.
My number one question: how much blame should he have for the fact that every single week in the fourth quarter it's a close game? And you've
No,
already answered that.
It's none. I mean, it's none. I want to say if the blame is on the Seahawks, and some of those games wouldn't be close in the fourth quarter if they would just go, here, Russell, here's the game from the start of the first quarter, take over, and let's go. And I hopefully the last 2 playoff losses will get them to realize that, because that's what's happened 2 years ago in Dallas, last year in Green Bay. They tried to go up there and do their normal thing of we're going to run the ball, play defense, manage the game. And they get down to such an extent that it's just a little too much for even Russell Wilson to overcome in a playoff game. And again, with what I would say, an offense that's not necessarily the most creative passing game in football. I mean, it's very elementary. And Russell Wilson, he makes it happen with pinpoint throwing. He might be the best deep ball thrower in the game. And then, of course, we know his ad-libbing and ability to escape the pocket and his I don't know. You tell me this. And we know who's going to be number 1 now that we've hit number 2. 3 minutes left in the game, and you're down by 3 or 4 points. Who is it? Who would you rather have the ball in football in the NFL right now other than Russell Wilson? I mean, I know he's in your top 2 or 3. I don't even have to guess that. But who else
Right.
is in your mind for there? Yeah.
I mean, I'd put Aaron Rodgers in there. I'd put the guy you have at number 1 right there as well. But Wilson, time after time, it's almost just like normal. It's like an NBA game, which you're not watching right now. But no matter what's happening in the second quarter, you're going to turn it on with a minute left in the game, and it's going to be close. And that's like what you get with Russell Wilson. And hey, 75, 80% of the time, it seems like he wins.
It does. It's unbelievable. He is a force of nature.
Up to number 1. It'd be fun to have some suspense here, but obviously there is zero suspense, just an explanation as to why this guy's on top.
My homie, our homie, my homie. Whenever he's on, I watch my homie, Patrick Mahomes and me. Yep, that's my song for him.
Yes.
Yep, thank you very much. Thank you. Please,
Strong finish.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Where do you start? First off, I think this is where you start, Paul. I mean, there is no weakness to Patrick Mahomes' game right now. There's none. I don't care. There's literally nothing. I can say
the fact that he falls away, kind of falls back, doesn't set his feet.
And when he starts missing the target, then I'll start complaining about it.
Right.
But it doesn't matter. He hits the target. I've never seen anybody like it in my life. Again, yeah, you'd like it from the quarterback school standpoint of him being a little bit more strict technique-wise, but it's what makes him him. And he certainly, when the technique is right, I mean, come on, it's a walk in the park. But it's, to what you're, it's the Super Bowl throw. Oh, it's, a 14-yard drop off his back foot and then a 55-yard throw. Like, what? Don't do that, but, it doesn't matter for him. It's on the screws almost every time he does it. So that's where it's special. I mean, he's truly a special, special talent, Patrick Mahomes. He's the most creative thrower I've ever seen. And that's crazy because Aaron Rodgers is really creative. But I've never seen a guy who can just do it more different ways, sidearm, no look, just like flick it with his wrist. He's got more delivery points and ability to get it done than anybody I've ever seen play quarterback in my life.
I have written down here to ask, after arm strength, what is his second best quality? And if creative thrower counts as number 2, that's an awfully good, that's a great counterpunch to have.
It is. I think, that's first off, that's a great question. I think the other thing too would be, I think this is another aspect that I love, his deep drop. You know, he floats like a butterfly and stings like
Yep.
a bee at quarterback. He's like, I don't even call it a drop. He just floats back there. It's unlike any other quarterback in football. And it's really in a lot of ways brilliant because of course he is very athletic. He can make you miss, okay? He really gives himself room between himself and the rushers. Why? Two things it does. One, he gives himself room. It gives him more time to evaluate the guy who's coming upfield to get him and make him miss. Two, the other thing it does is it does buy him time with all the deep routes they have down the field. Three, it really opens up the pass rush lanes. So then if nobody is open and he makes that guy miss, all of a sudden he's running up in the pocket and there's nobody around him, or he's stepping up in the pocket, or he's scrambling to run. To me, that might be the second most effective thing he does. Yeah, the arm and the deep throws or all that are special, but the uniqueness of his drop. I mean, I wish I could stand up, but I mean, you can picture it in your mind. He gets a shotgun and there's no steps and he kind of just floats around and goes this way and goes that way, and you're just like, I don't know what he's doing, but oh, zoom, there goes a 40-yard completion. Sure, do it again. That sounds good to me.